Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Agent Power Huddle. It's Friday, and we call this Scripting Fridays, but I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to train you on Google local service ads. There will be some scripting in it on how to convert those leads, but it's been a tremendous lead source for me and my team, and I thought I would share. So let me share my screen and let's dive in, shall we? Come on. All right. So, local service ads, if you're not familiar with them, they are the new iteration of PPC. If you haven't heard of pay per click, that's from the dark ages. I've been doing lead generation for 30 years since the internet started, and I'm good at it. I've generated tens of thousands of leads. And as you may know, if you do this at all, different lead sources are better and more effective during different markets than others. And it sort of ebbs and flows. We have a Zillow team on our within my team. We get those leads. Sometimes those leads are great. Sometimes those leads are not. It ebbs and flows. Well, right now, Google LSA is a great lead source. And just so you know why I qualified to opine on such matters, I'm in the Seattle market. If you can see my background, I've got the Space Needle. I've sold over 3,000 homes and over $1 billion worth of homes, as well as over $1 billion of mortgages. I'm duly licensed and have been in the market for 39 years. So I've seen and done it all, and I have a great amount of experience, which I'm always happy to share. So Google LSA ads differ from plain and simple PPC because of how you can target the geographic area that you want to market to. There is a process for getting set up and verified that you will go through. It took me almost 2 weeks to get through it, but it's worth it because once it's switched on, uh, things started cranking. In fact, at the end of this, I'm going to share with you guys how I generated 8 leads in 24 hours and had signed listing agreements with 7 of them within those same 24 hours. These are bottom of the funnel leads, and we'll cover that, right? But you guys all understand the funnel concept, right? What spits out of the bottom? Money. So, and at the end, I'll share that bonus tip. So, what are they? Well, they're triggered by searches where somebody types into their Google search, I need a listing broker in Sammamish, which is where I'm sitting, or in Kentucky, or wherever, right? Or my dad died and I have to sell his house in Reno. And boom, it pulls you up if you're in that area. And there's a call me button that they can click on. And when they click it, your cell phone rings or your AI receptionist or whatever you use, just make sure it gets answered because those leads are going to be billed to you based on the quality of the lead, right? And the pay per lead amount is about 75 bucks a lead. So if you do a lot of lead gen like I've done, I've gotten my buyer lead price cost per lead down to under $4. Seller leads tend to be around 100 bucks though. And the vast majority of these LSA leads are seller leads and they're only charging me 75. So my average seller lead price has been going down. And the really cool thing that I appreciate and like is when that call rings, there's a couple things that happen. The first is you hear a tone at the beginning once you answer. That immediately kicks your brain into scripting, right? And we'll cover scripting. But it immediately tells you, oh, this is a Google lead. Hi, this is Ed, right? The other thing it does is it has an AI tool that will listen to the recording of the call and determine if it was a real lead or not. Because I got one yesterday. It was a guy looking for flooring. I'm like, dude, how did you get me? Anyway, but I didn't get billed for it because it's not a lead, right? Or it could be a solicitation of some sort, or a spam, or a moving company, or whatever. They will, here's another example. I don't accept rental leads, and you might not want to either. Well, you can deselect that. And if it is a rental lead, it won't charge you for that. So if you ever have a call where you're like, I shouldn't have to pay for that, just jump into your dashboard and make sure that it says not charged. And if it doesn't, click on it and you can rate the lead as crappy and get them to credit it back. And they're pretty fair. I've done that a lot. Not that I get a lot of bad leads, but I've done it enough where I've yet to have a disagreement on whether or not I should have been charged. So it's a pretty effective AI tool. You also are going to get a Google verified badge through this process. So it's pretty powerful. Now, why should this matter? Well, it's all about the quality of the lead, right? And the closer you are to Google, the closer the lead is going to assume your skills and credibility go up, right? Whereas in social media, they're just skimming their feed and they if they get distracted enough to click on something, that's not a very committed lead. These are people that have proactively gone to Google and said, "My mom passed away and I have to sell her house. Who should I call?" And they get you, right? Zillow leads, same kind of thing. They're browsing through Zillow. They might want to buy. They send the contact info to more than one agent, and those are spendy, right? We pay a 35 to 40% referral fee for those. LSA leads are search triggered, high intent, and they came directly to you, not through a portal or not to a portal. Does that make sense? So when you're ready to do this, you want to make sure that you have a Google account and you want to make sure that you have a Google My Business page and then update and make it as detailed and clear as possible what firm you're with, what the address is for your firm, etc. You want to be cognizant of NAP, N-A-P, name, address, phone. The AI LLMs search, right? And if you have different addresses and different phone numbers on different websites, it's going to not consider you an expert. Google will do the same thing. So make sure that all your stuff is consistent. Make sure you upload your real estate license info, etc. And then finish out the payment method because they bill you monthly. Now, there's no setup fee or any upfront costs, but they're going to bill you as the leads start to flow, right? So, enough on that. Then you're going to create your ads account. So go to ads.google.com/local-services-ads and then select your business category, which is going to be real estate, right? You're going to input your business info, verify your credentials, and set up the billing. It's really pretty straightforward. There's a little bit of lag as you input information, it goes out and verifies that information, but it's not too long or complicated. It's pretty straightforward, right? Now, what's going to get you hired, right? A good photo, polished, high quality headshot. That's the face of your ad, right? Your resume, your experience and expertise, years in the business, number of homes sold, whatever is brag worthy about your experience. If you're brand new, join a team, brag about the team. It doesn't matter. The consumer is going to see it and go, oh, yeah, they're part of an organization that's going to help me achieve my goals, right? Reviews and ratings are important, but they're not as important as a lot of people say. I only have 40 or 50 Google reviews. And when I started my LSA account, I had fewer than 20. It's not that you have to have hundreds. It's that they have to be compelling, five-star, legible reviews that make sense and extol the virtues of working with you, right? And then make sure that the contact info you put in there, you respond to immediately, right? You guys have all heard of the MIT study. If you haven't, I'll describe it quickly. MIT did a study on what is the requisite response time in order to have the best opportunity to convert a lead to a customer. And you know what they found? The answer was 5 minutes. 5 minutes. It went on to say that if you waited just 30 minutes, which isn't that long, you were still 21 times less likely to convert that lead to a customer. Now, take that knowledge and apply it to this model. This is a live transfer model. So have it point at a phone that either you or your inside sales team or your receptionist who you've trained on what to say picks it up when they call. That's the way to convert. That's how I got 7 signed listing agreements in 24 hours. And I'll come back to that, right? Remember, the ad gets you seen, the profile gets you trusted, but the phone call is what gets you hired. Let that sink in. The ad gets you seen, the profile gets you trusted, but the phone call gets you hired. That's the bottom line, right? Now let's talk about geography. Recognize that if you're in a metro area, there's already people doing this and it's competitive. So the volume of leads isn't going to be real high out of Louisville, Kentucky, or Reno, or Seattle, or wherever. So spread it out, focus more on suburbs if you want. The key to me, though, is it's okay to have slow lead flow while you're setting up your system, making sure your response times are quick and practicing your script. Then you can blow it open, and I'll teach you how to do that. Does that make sense? Right? So when you go into the platform, you can tell it, you can use a polygon and draw a circle or a radius. You can tell it cities, counties, zip codes, whatever you want. It can be as specific and small or as big and wide as you want. Start tight and prove your system though, and then expand, right? So now you want to set your budget. Now, the budget is a really important component of this because the budget communicates to the algorithm how serious you are, how much in business you are. So I would set it at like 500 to $1,000 a week and recognize that if you start getting a bunch of $75 leads, you can suspend the account, you can shut off the ads and stop the accumulation while you sort through those leads. You control it, but set a number that's aggressive and communicates to the algorithm that you're in business for the long haul, right? And then test it out. Leave it there for 30 days. Turn it on and off if you need to, but let it run. That's training the algorithm, right? Make sure you respond within 5 minutes. By the way, 60 seconds is better than 5 minutes, right? And then track your metrics, cost per lead, lead quality, response times, appointments set, listing agreements signed, referral opportunities. How much GCI did it generate? Then you know whether you want to expand it or dial it back, right? Just don't judge it on the first or only lead. Judge it in batches because your response time, your follow-up, all of that is going to contribute to your success. That's what this training is about, is how to do this, but how to crush it and be successful while you're doing it. Calls versus messages. Sometimes the consumer will prefer text. These leads don't convert at as high of a level, but that should make sense to you, right? You are way more effective face to face or voice to voice than you are over text, plain and simple. But some consumers are going to insist on text. That's okay. Have a system for that. Have a response system. You can use tools like ManyChat if you want. Make sure they get responded to quickly, right? Because the whole reason that MIT study landed on 5 minutes is because the average consumer goes to 20 more websites in the next 5 minutes. So have a speed to lead strategy built into your system, right? Also, check your inbox every day because you'll have leads in there that maybe the call didn't come through when you were driving through a dead cell zone or something, and you don't want to miss that. You don't want to waste that money. because it's still going to charge you if the lead left a voicemail and you didn't realize it, right? Check it daily. All right. When the call comes in, this is the script you want to use. Hi, this is Ed Laine. I saw you reached out through Google about real estate help. Are you thinking about selling, buying, or just trying to understand your options? I love that script, right? Because it identifies intent, right? Then find out in that conversation if it's a seller, what's the property address? Do you own it? Are you looking to buy it? Timeline, motivation, condition, mortgage situation, already listed, desired outcome. By the way, quick plug, if you guys are interested in finding out how you can get your mortgage license for free without having to take CE courses and get an extra revenue stream, hit me up. I've been a licensed lender for almost 40 years, and there's a program that I'm connected to where realtors who work with buyers and sellers can get licensed and sponsored by a federally chartered bank. So you could become a licensed loan officer in all 50 states almost overnight. Not really overnight, but it takes about a week. And you don't have to go take courses or do anything. It's really cool and it'll add another revenue stream to your business. And by the way, when rates go down, I don't even have to sell houses. I can send out emails to my sphere and past clients and get them to refi, and I'll get a revenue stream off refis. It's any mortgage activity. So keep that in your hip pocket, all right? All right, back to Google LSAs. Once I get them on the phone, I am driving towards an appointment, always, right? Bam, fam. You guys have all heard that. Book a meeting from a meeting. So if I'm meeting with you for the first time over phone, I'm pushing you to meet with me in person. If it's a buyer, we're going to meet at the house. If it's a seller, we're going to meet at your house so I can see it. It's all pretty straightforward. And this script actually helps me get listing agreements signed within 15 minutes. And here's how it sounds. You call, I answer, I say, hi, this is Ed Lane. I saw you reached out, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the conversation, after I've qualified all of your timing and motivation and the address and all of that, I end the call with this dialogue, which is, hey, Susan, one more thing to touch on. Are you familiar with Senate Bill 5191? No. That's the law that came out of the class action lawsuit that was levied against NAR. And what that law says is that I'm not allowed to provide any brokerage services until you hire me. So that means sign a listing agreement. And I know we're only meeting for the first time. So I know that's not, a great thing to require. So what I've done is I've created a cancellation agreement so that you feel more comfortable signing the listing agreement, knowing that you can fire me immediately or fire me if you don't like what I end up telling you that your home is worth. Does that make sense? And what I get is a signed listing agreement when I say that. They go, oh, okay. And what I'll end it with oftentimes is depending as I'm listening and talking with you, if I get any sense of apprehension, I'll say, now I can send this to you to sign straight away, or I can send it to you as a PDF file so you can look it over first. Which do you prefer? And that example I gave earlier about how I had 8 leads and 7 of them signed, the eighth one asked me to send the PDF. All 7 that signed were okay straight away. So that's 87.5% of the leads I generated, 7/8, right? That's pretty good ratio. And the eighth guy, he signed a couple days later. So I signed 100% of them, but 7 of them signed after the 15-minute phone call. These are bottom of the funnel leads. What more evidence do you need, right? Now, here's the bonus strategy. And how are we doing on time? Oh, we're doing great. When you start this, start close in. You can do your county that you sit in, right? You can do the MSA if you want, but start close while you build out your systems. You get comfortable with the response times, the scripts, and all that. And then if you want to grow it, flip the switch from your county to your entire state. I set this up for King County, which is where I'm sitting, and I generated like 3 leads over 90 days. And the reason is I'm not the only one doing this. There's lots of people running LSA ads. The minute I flip the switch to the entire state, and this is a really important switch, I changed my budget to $10,000 a week. I have never paid 10 grand, not even in a month. But setting it at 10 grand told the algorithm how serious I am about this business. That's when I got 8 leads in 24 hours. Does that make sense? So once you've kind of mastered it locally, consider, you don't have to do this, but consider opening it up to the entire state and then refer the deals out. If it's too far away from you, send it out, right? Answer every call, qualify them, determine the location, and then if you have to partner with somebody, partner with them. Then use this handoff script. The best way I can serve you is to connect you with a strong local partner who knows that market deeply. I'll stay involved and make sure you're taken care of. I don't even necessarily say stay involved in the handoff. I want the consumer to feel like they're getting a twofer. They're getting me and the local person, right? Then make sure you've got all the paperwork together to do this. Now, if you're with EXP, they make it super easy for us. We have a referral portal. We can literally jump in there, type in the city. It'll pull up all the EXP agents that serve that city. You might want to take a different tact. If you're into agent attraction like I am, refer the deal to somebody that's not with EXP and then use that lead source to recruit them, right? I have one right now. I have 2 listings with a guy in an area of Washington called the Okanagan. It's 5 hours from me. He's with another firm. Do you think he's fond of me because I've given him a 50-50 split on 2 listings that he didn't have previously? Hell yeah, right? By the way, 50-50. How many of you are usually getting 25% referral fees? Do you think that a referral of a seller where it's not just a lead, it's not just a name, a phone number, and an address, it's a signed listing agreement. And that listing agreement, I even put his name on. So it says Ed Laine and Joe Blow. That's way more valuable, right? Because that consumer, that seller is committed to Joe in my example, right? It's easy to get 50% of the commission when you're handing off a signed listing agreement lead. That's a new revenue stream for you. That also can help you hit icon if you know what that is. It helps me do it every year. So recognize how easy it is to get a decent referral. By the way, on buyers, I only ask for 35%. There is a signed buyer broker agreement, but it's also more work with buyers, right? At least assumed to be more work. So it's whatever you can negotiate. I'm just sharing with you what I do, right? Bottom line, it's not magic, it's gasoline. So if you pour it on a weakness, it's going to compound that weakness, right? So turn that weakness into a strength. I have 2 sons. I've raised their entire lives. I've told them, work on your weaknesses, every single one of them. Doesn't matter if it's in sports, in life, in school, whatever. You'll be unstoppable if you improve your weaknesses every day, right? Next step, set up your LSA profile this week, get verified, set your budget, answer every call in under 60 seconds. The leads are there. Now go get them. One more thing that is really cool about this system is Google will tell you how often are you showing up in the top three and how often are you showing up as number one. And I'm showing up in the top three over 90% of the time. And I show up as number one 67% of the time. So 2 out of every 3 leads sees me in the number one pole position. You'll have the same thing if you set this up. Does that make sense? All right, I'm going to stop the share and I'm going to open it up to questions. Carlene and Mary, welcome. I know you guys showed up a little bit late. This was recorded though, so you're welcome to check it out. Does anyone have any questions before we wrap things up? And if not, I hope you guys have a wonderful day and a great weekend. All right. Take care, everybody. Thanks for coming out.
If you'd like more information or to get connected to the Agent Power Huddle, join our free Facebook group. This call was designed for the agents in our EXP organization, but open to any agent from any brokerage. If you're a guest and you're interested in learning more about EXP or our specific resources within the Agent Collective, reach out to the person who invited you to this call to get more info. Produced by the Agent Collective Media Network.